I love that crawl, walk, run mentality. And it's a great mentality to have because it helps you build your fundamentals, right? Even like in sports, you got to start with the fundamentals and work your way up to, the championship, right? And you guys are doing that in a sense with this company. I haven't known you guys very long. The time I have spent with you guys, I can see the passion you guys have for this, and it's very cool to see, especially something here in El Paso, like on a local level, because we don't get a lot of that, right? And the involvement and the collaboration you guys are doing, like even letting us be a part of it, letting Jimmy be a part of it, and Chris, like it's so awesome. So I think you guys are doing a great thing. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of A-Town Talk, the number one podcast in Anthony, Texas.
The only
one.
Number one for a reason, dog.
Yeah. We're not in A-Town today, guys. We're out here in El Paso with some very, very cool and important people. We got Carlos Pacheco and Roland Rios. I fucked up your name, dude. I'm sorry.
It depends where you're at. If you're in
Roland.
Anthony, it's Roland.
I was going to say Rolando because I have one of my friends' kid's name is Rolando. I was going to say Rolando, but it's Roland Rios.
Yeah, well, my grandpa and my dad's name is Rolando.
Okay.
My mom decided to take the O. I guess she figured I was going to be white or something. But
But
then
he's like, están los Uniteds, right? He's rolling. Well, thank you, guys. We also got Jimmy Dukes and Chris Hill. We got a packed house, and then we got Sal.
What up, Sal?
The number one producer,
Hey,
hanging out in the back.
that's what's up.
I'm out of breath, guys. Fuck, holy shit. Been running around, setting up. I know you guys are on a time crunch, so let's get your portion out of this podcast out of the way. But thank you so much for having us here. We're here to talk about CFC3, a very dope event that we are lucky enough to be part of, and you guys are awesome for letting us do this podcast and hosting us here today. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Well,
And also, shout out Marketing Hunters for letting us use their space.
Yep.
Hey, win.
Yeah, this is kind of like we call it the war room. This is where, like we put together every weekly meeting that we do leading up to, like our events. There's a lot of preparation behind the events, and really like thank you guys. I talked to you guys about it too. Thank you guys for supporting this. This is definitely a team effort. From like the team, within CFC. But it really I think you kind of summed up the MMA scene in El Paso. Like in this room right now. Thank you guys for hosting us. Thank you for letting us push our our message through your channel.
But no, thank you guys for being here, and we're here to talk about CFC. So let's start there. CFC, what does it stand for, and when did it start?
Stands for Combat Fighting Championships. Started
November 2023.
November 2023. Yeah, a while back. It was just an idea. Like I was talking to Jimmy, and it was just an idea that we had. We went to a show, and one of my fighters fought, and he won. He was one of the first earlier fights. He won, so I got to go just hang out and just chill back and watch the show. And I've been cornering fights and fighters for over 10 years, and never in El Paso. We always have to leave El Paso. We always have to go other cities just to fight because there's nothing here locally. So we were there at the show, and we were just talking about it, and we're like, this is a good show, but there's something about I think we can do this better. Like I think we have the passion for it, the love for it, and it was like we said, it was kind of just drunk talk. Like we were kind of drunk and just talking about it. And then the next week came through, and it was still in the back of our head. So we met up, and we started talking about how we would go about it. And once we had that conversation, it was fast. Like before I knew it, we already had a name for the show. We had everything.
I think like I said, going back to the team, and I'll give you kind of my point of view regarding I started training with Carlos as my coach about almost 2 years ago now. And being in business, I started kind of telling him the fighters might want to do this, and as far as sponsorships, and I actually sponsor some of them. And I would ask him kind of what he said. Like, it's like, why do you guys go out of town? Why do you guys go so far out?
Mhm.
You know, like I would see him go to, you know, like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. You know, like the closest will probably be, you know, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And to me, I was like, why don't we do something? And he pretty much told me, he's like, there's nothing here. You know, the closest thing we've had is like have somebody else from out of town come in. I was like, let's do it. And I think he at first he probably said, like, you know, like he doesn't really mean it, you know, and he probably thought this is too hard. And I remember keep telling him, you know, like, I'll do the you know, the paperwork side of things, the admin side of things. You just worry about getting fighters. And you know, that one day I think it took a little bit liquid courage, you know, and then we're
Yeah.
like, he tells me, he's like, oh, we can do so much better than this. And I'm like, I've been telling you, you know, like I've been telling you, yeah, I know we can. So that day, you know, kind of like set the tone for us. And kind of like he said, like, you know, like it stayed in the back of our minds. And we kind of just one day we met at his office, you know, like in his gym. And I said, okay, guys, what can we do? You know, like, what do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? What does David bring to the table? And we just kind of like, it's crazy, like a one-page word like document. It started everything. We're like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we're gonna do it. This is what you're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what David's gonna do. And we started, you know, like small. uh we went slow, but we haven't stopped. You know, like I that's something that a mentor of mine in business would tell me, like, hey, whatever you do, think big, start like small, and just go smoothly, like smooth and steady. You know, don't try to run. Like,
Yeah.
we kind of ran. You know, like we got lucky and or blessed, whatever you guys call it, to, you know, like exponentially grow within the first couple of shows. But I mean, it's just been pure, you know, like dedication. You know, like passion for the sport, and just shit lighting up. You know, like really.
I love that crawl, walk, run mentality, and it's a great mentality to have because it helps you build your fundamentals, right? Even like in sports, you got to start with the fundamentals and work your way up to, the championship, right? And you guys are doing that in a sense with this company, and it's very inspiring to see. I haven't known you guys very long, but the time I have spent with you guys, I can see the passion you guys have for this, and it's very cool to see, especially something here in El Paso, like on a local level, because we don't get a lot of that, right? And the involvement and the collaboration you guys are doing, like even letting us be a part of it, letting Jimmy be a part of it, and Chris, like it's so awesome. So I think you guys are doing a great thing with CFC. This is the third event, right? It's going to
Correct.
be at Speaking Rock Casino.
Correct.
How have the previous two events gone, and what was that like starting that up?
Well, Chris has been to number 2.
Yes.
Jimmy, you've been to number 2 as well.
Yes,
you weren't
sir.
there for 1, right?
I wasn't there
Okay,
for
so
one.
I'll
Well,
tell you.
let's clarify. Speaking Rock Entertainment Center.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking
Yeah.
Rock Entertainment.
Center.
Yeah, that's what they go by. Because I mean, they do great entertainment. I'll tell you that. Like we're happy to and glad to be part of some of that entertainment.
Mhm.
Pretty much 3 shows a year. But I mean, we were talking about it earlier. You know, like kind of like, you know, like spoiling it a little bit. We met this Word document. We're like, okay, where do we start? We thought about, like, you know, doing it at the winery at La Viña, right there by Anthony.
Okay.
And
Nice.
and we actually, you know, like they wanted to cap us, you know, like at the amount of people that we can bring in. So we decided to venture into like other bigger venues, right?
The amount of people and the time it ended.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how limitations kind of set us up for success,
Mhm.
right? Because then we decided to, okay, let's look for casinos. We actually reached out to Sunland Park. We got a hard no.
They're
Uh,
lost.
Yeah, I remember. I remember, like, you know, getting the person in charge, you know, on the phone. It took a lot to even get that number, you know, like. But then when I finally get to the phone, like, I got literally this was the answer. It was, you can send me the proposal, but I'm not even gonna look at it. So it's up to you if you're gonna waste your time. I was like, okay, then
Wow.
you know, move on to the next one. You know, like, but I think it all. I mean, you told me that you guys do a lot of podcasts, you know, with the entrepreneurs. That's what it takes. You know, resiliency with fighters. That's what it takes. You're not always gonna win every round. You're not always gonna win every fight. You're not gonna do great at every sparring session. Like, it sucks, but you just gotta get back up and keep going forward. You know, like keep doing your thing. We were blessed to be introduced to Speaking Rock, and I guess the project and the vision kind of lined up.
Mhm.
It hasn't been easy because they're a monster here in town. so their expectations are, you know, like big.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to fulfill to the standards that they fulfill, you know, this market, you know, like, and that's a challenge. That's not easy, especially starting off, right? So I recall, you know, like, Carlos was there, you know, like them telling us, okay, we're gonna give you your shot, but when you don't get more than 300 people, don't come back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's scary. You know, like that's scary that that you are told that if you don't perform to a certain level, you're not gonna do it. Even though, you know, like I personally, like I really had my mindset of at least bringing, you know, anywhere from 600 to 800 people, high hopes 1,000. You know, so I think, you know, us being, you know, I call myself a warrior. You know, like not necessarily just like a fighter, because I to me, like we have, like, he's definitely a warrior. You know, like he's a fighter, a pro fighter. But
He's
my
literally a pro fighter.
yes, he's
And
literally
a
a pro
promoter.
fighter.
Yeah.
So my thing is like, okay, you tell me I can't do something, or that I'm likely not to do something, I'm gonna do my fucking hardest to fucking get it done. Right. So now it wasn't just about like I want to make this work because I have pride on what I do, but I was like, I definitely need to make sure that we surpass this expectation. And I don't only want to just like surpass it, I want to crush it. So my thing is like, we're gonna bring double, triple the people. So I was like 1,000. Like let's shoot like, and I think the biggest thing is like we decided to give away tickets. Like we're like, hey, we're gonna give free tickets because that's marketing 101. You know, like you gotta let people try some of it so they can, you know, like get to know what you're about. And you know, like first show happened. We did our best, you know, like, and we ended up getting, you know, close to 1,500 people on the first show. So not only did we surpass the expectation, but we surpassed our own expectation by almost double.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of how it went down, you know.
What about you, Carlos? How do you juggle being the fighter, being the promoter, and an entrepreneur like in this situation? Because
Yeah.
you are fighting in this card as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I told Jimmy, like, ask me April 6th if it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, all that's on my mind is cutting weight. But, and just like I was telling them right now, like, it sucks for me because I don't get to enjoy the show because it's a show. It's not just a fight. So I usually always have fighters on the card. So I'm working on, like, I'm cornering, but like they'll see it. Well, they, in the past shows, they see it. Like I show up with my CFC shirt and I'm working, right. And then once the time the fight start, I take off my CFC shirt and I put my elite shirt on. Hey, I'm elite now, you know. But it's hard, man. It's because if everyone has their post. Like there's three of us. Roland usually handles the door. David does all the, you know, like, hey, you guys got to walk out through here, walk out this way, whatever, this, that. And then I'm in the back with the fighters. Thankfully we have a lot of help back there too. Like, hey, you're up, you're next, you're on deck, whatever, stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I'm just excited. I'm excited for the show because I mean, obviously we love what we do. I have a big passion for this. I'm excited to fight here in El Paso. I don't know, man. I just, like I said, ask me April 6th.
All right, I
Yeah.
will. We'll
Yeah.
do a recap.
Yeah.
And I like that you guys are saying show because it's not just a fight. It's
No.
not just a fight. Now you guys are putting on a show. The production that's going into this is high quality stuff, and it's a full on show. So it's for everybody. It's not just for fight fans. It's
No.
you can take anybody.
Well, and I think it's to put on. It's not hard to put on fights. You guys want to fight? Sure. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we
Go
used to
fight.
do them in the backyard all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
cool. You
We've
know?
all done backyard
Yeah.
fights, right?
So it's a lot more than just a fight. Like, not only that, you know, behind the matchmaking, who makes a good fight? Who makes an entertaining fight? Who's a big ticket seller? Who's a big name here in El Paso? Who's a big name from Albuquerque or wherever that we're gonna bring them down? And not only the fights, but it's like I said, it's a show. We never wanted to just do fights. I mean, Speaking Rock does shows all year, so we want to match that same energy of like it's a show, it's an event, not just a fight. There just happens to be a fight within this event, you know.
Yeah, it revolves around the fights, but and we gotta give it to Speaking Rock. Honestly, like Speaking Rock, I mean, if it wasn't for their support, and you know, like all the production that they provide, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do what we do elsewhere. You know, at La Viña or anything.
Yeah,
anything
we'd
like
have
that.
like backyard fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like they know what they're doing. They're an event center. Like, you know, they know what they're doing, and we're just bringing in our show. You know, like within like what the atmosphere that they already bring in. You know, like so it makes it easier for sure. You know, but at the same time, you know, like if he doesn't do what he does as a, like as a fighter first director, if he doesn't match make properly, you can have a boring fight. So like it's about everything that's happening, from the time you come into the venue, in between the rounds, in between the fights, the intermission. Do you guys? I mean, it's gonna be the second time for some of you guys. It's gonna be the first time for some of y'all. But I mean, if you look at our recaps, I mean, you see Bobby Bone, like somebody that's kind of like known locally, dancing in the crowd, like like you're always gonna see Carlos's family also, like having fun, screaming, like just having a blast, and that's what it's all about. Like it's not about putting in a fight; it's putting on a show, like as a whole, and like we've kind of like changed some of the things that the casino does. Like we bring in like a younger crowd. Like we actually sell tickets rather than just making a free show. So like even with that, like we've stood up to the standard. Like and that's a challenge in itself. Like because people are used to going there for free, and we have it all the time. Like it happens all the time at the door. They're like, "Oh, isn't it free?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." Like you have to pay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Like it's crazy for me, but I can only think how crazy it is for Carlos because he's fighter, coach, promoter. Like everything. That day I handled the door, and any fire that's on, like I get called on the radio, and I'd have to be the point of contact directly with the casino, the security, all of that stuff. First show I kind of watched some fights, but the second one I definitely like missed every single one of them. Like there was a point in time where I actually like left to the airport to pick up Chito Vera or UFC special guest.
Yeah.
And then like drive them in, like with shout out to like our sponsors, like they let us borrow some cyber trucks.
Yeah.
So we rolled out on the cyber trucks, like picked them up, stopped by his hotel, like came back and like made an entrance, like so it was super cool, like, and that's all part of it. Like as soon as he's coming in, we link up a phone camera to the like to the big screens, and everybody's watching him walk in. So like people start kind of like like trying to get close.
Yeah.
And we kind of purposefully did it exactly when he was already walking in, so like people didn't like get a chance to actually like like crowd
Like, oh
him.
my God, it's Cheeto there.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
how cool is that, man? That you guys actually bring in UFC fighters, and not just any like UFC fighters. Like Cheeto Vera is like
Fought for the
very
title.
popular.
Yeah, he had just fought for the title right after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we brought him right after that.
Sean O'Malley, right?
He
Yeah.
had just fought Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
We're bringing someone else this time too. So
And we can't say who.
No, we actually can. Yeah,
we
we're
can?
gonna roll out. Like I think by the time this is headed, it's probably already gonna be rolled out. Carlos Condit is gonna be our special guest, and actually CFC2 we had two UFC vets bring out their teams, and Ray Borg, like and Anthony Burchak, like they came out and they brought out their teams. The feedback that we got from those guys, it was amazing. And I mean, Burchak's back. He's actually gonna be commentating this time around.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Borg is also back.
Yeah, he's bringing Nico.
Yeah, he's bringing a fighter. So Nico, like that's another like great story. Nico, like first fight in El Paso. He never fought before out of
In El Paso now.
not in El Paso.
Albuquerque.
So this guy literally like he's supposed to be kind of like the out of towner, like. But then this guy wins, and then he's like addressing the crowd, and he's dedicating his win to his cat.
He's mad.
Saying,
El
go
Paso.
adopt some
Yeah,
cats.
Go adopt a
Heck
cat.
Yeah, and then out of a sudden, like you have this guy that is being called the cat guy, like, and people like resonate with him and they love him, and he caught a lot of attention. Like it's just like that's whole part of it. Like we need those fighters, our showmen. Like which we have another great showman this time around, Jeremy West. That you guys are gonna be seeing some videos.
Yeah.
A little interview that he did. Like we were watching it earlier. Like I was cracking it. I saw it live, and then I'm rewatching it. Like recorded, and oh my God, I'm still cracking up.
Yeah, he is hilarious. We got to meet him the other night at the marketing event. Yeah, he's quite the character.
Yeah.
And you want fighters like that. And you even see it a lot in the UFC now, where the guys that are characters are the ones that get the more screen time, and the ones that, because at the end of the day you got to sell tickets, right?
Yes.
You got to put on a show. So it's cool that we have local talent like that. And speaking of like, scheduling these fights, another big thing that I like that you guys do is you guys don't do El Paso versus El Paso.
No.
You guys do El Paso versus the world.
Yeah.
Really.
I refuse to do El Paso versus El Paso, and that's something that many years ago my coach Mando Rosales, shout out to him, He taught me that. That was big on him. Like, I don't want El Paso to fight El Paso because that's how it was for so long. And it kind of just stuck with me. So on the cards, I was telling Jim, like, sometimes I have to. I have no choice because a fight fell through the week of the fight. So I have to just reach out locally. Hey, do you have anyone at this weight? And they'll take it. They'll take it at last minute replacement. But I will never do an El Paso versus El Paso fight. Like, I refuse to do that. Especially because at my gym, we cross train with so many other gyms. You know, we have 10 Planets, City Wolves, Zen, just everybody. We can cross train with anybody. You know, so I don't want that. Like, it's just there's no need for El Paso versus El Paso when we're getting so much traction from out of towners that are willing to come down and fight for our show. So you won't see El Paso versus El Paso unless it's like I have to. Yeah, maybe Anthony. Yeah, but
We're
Yeah.
out of town.
Yeah.
We're our
You're
own
out of
thing. We
town.
fight
Yeah.
each other over
Yeah.
there.
Maybe
I-
you'll get a chance to fight my brother if anything.
yeah.
Right.
There you go. I mean, put him on the show.
Oh, you know my brother Abraham.
Military man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Shout out to Abraham.
yeah.
Yeah.
He goes Zen as well.
Yeah, he goes
Yeah,
to Zen.
heck
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So speaking of like the community aspect, how cool or how supportive has the El Paso MMA community been? We have some local MMA community members right here. We have Jimmy, the MMA guy, right?
Yeah. I'm just
The
a guy,
guru.
but yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's been good. I can tell you as far as, you know, I always try to get someone from each gym. Because I'm not trying to showcase my team. Like, I'm just trying to showcase El Paso. Giving El Paso a platform to fight here. But I mean, if you want to ask that question to a local MMA celebrity,
I don't know
it's,
about
Jimmy.
that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jimmy. Answer.
What was it? What were you saying along
It's
the lines?
just like what has been like your your experience with the local MMA? How is everybody taking up to it?
I think, and this is just my opinion, and like I said, I've gotten to work with a lot of different gyms and coaches and fighters, and I think everybody has that mentality that Carlos always speaks highly of, and I like that too, because I'm the type of person that I want to get along with everybody as long as we're all on our own mission and don't need each other, but we could feed off each other, kind of thing, right? So I feel like with other gyms and other fighters, like how he's saying you cross train, like, damn, Chris whooped my butt. Now I'm gonna go over there and train with him, and then vice versa. Then everybody gets more involved and gets more excited. That only builds the community aspect. I know we were kind of talking about it a little bit with him over here. Ronnie, he's like, man, everybody's gonna win. Like, there's enough. There's X amount of people here in El Paso. We're having a small percentage. The small percentage all supporting each other is only gonna build upwards, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it before, you know, like before we started the show or the recording. And my biggest thing is, you know, like we're a predominantly Hispanic community. And we as Hispanics, I used to love boxing, you know, like before I actually dove into MMA. And my goal is to change that because MMA is the fastest growing sport right now in the world.
Yeah.
And predominantly, you know, El Paso prefers boxing over MMA. So what we're doing, what, you know, Jimmy is doing, what Chris is doing, you know, by promoting this photography specific to MMA or to combat sports, by, you know, like dedicating, you know, like your channel or your podcast to MMA. I think El Paso has taken us pretty well, and we still got a lot of work to do. We still got a lot of work to do because I still get it, like, you know, going to marketing events, networking events. I still get it, like, from people as, how come I haven't heard about this? We're on a limited budget, obviously, like, you know, we're starting off, but I'm like, okay, I gotta do something better, you know, because I have to make sure that everybody that's interested in MMA is listening, you know, but like they're aware of this. But we're doing our best, you know, we're doing our best that we can, and my biggest thing is we're improving every single show. Every meeting, it's all about how can we do better. You know, like even during our break, you know, we have a big break from October to April. We're always, you know, like even when we're training, right? We're thinking about
Yeah.
constantly, like, you know, like we're meeting mid-session, you know, we're like, okay, what about this? We're thinking about ideas on how we can make this better. So it's that active rest. You know, yeah, we're taking time off because we're an outdoor show. But how can we improve next time? How can we pull more people? And our biggest thing is it's easy to bring the fighters team and the fighters family, but how do I bring in the people that are not related to them, the people that are just MMA fans, right? And I think that's what we've done different from everybody else here in town, that we've marketed to those people. We've marketed to the people that they like the UFC. Well, let me give you a UFC show type deal. locally, where you don't have to, like watch it on TV. You can watch it live, and it's 10 times better to watch it live, because I mean, you hear it. I mean, if you happen to be lucky enough to be right next to the cage, like Chris has
You
got
might
it.
get some sweat on you, some
Right.
blood. Is that blood on my camera? Hell yeah.
I'm gonna wipe it out. Take a couple more.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
use it
so,
as
like-
war paint.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think El Paso has adopted us pretty well.
Mhm.
We have a lot of work to do.
Mhm.
We're thankful for them, like attending our show, buying the tickets, supporting us, sharing our stuff. But we still have a lot of work to do. I was talking about like us being able to bring in, about 0.02% of the population. So, I mean, like the idea is to touch as many, like make sure that we touch every single MMA fan, and make sure to convert every combat sport fan that's not MMA
Mhm.
into MMA, because
Yeah.
I did the transition, and now to me boxing is boring.
Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I think during COVID is when I really started to watch UFC, because they
That's
were
all that
the
was
only
on.
ones, that were kept going, and that's when I really became a fan.
Yeah.
And I think what really got me was kind of learning about the fighters and
Yeah.
getting to know their history. Like sometimes it's like drama,
Yeah.
it's like a whole novela right there that you're watching. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the fight card before
Yes.
you guys head out. I know you guys are limited on time,
Yeah.
so we don't have to go over all of it, but let's highlight some of those people you need to be looking out for in this event.
That co-main event, look out for that one.
Okay, yeah. So is it
I know that
Kakichi?
guy.
Are you on the
If
co-main
they
event?
sell a couple of tickets, then they'll announce his name.
Okay.
right before the other one. But yeah, not me
guess-
for sure.
No.
Just before we even go there, like,
Yeah.
please, guys, if you guys know anyone that's buying tickets, if you know any of the fighters,
Mhm.
use their last name as the promo code.
Yeah.
Like, this is how some of them like get paid. Some of them are amateurs, so they don't really get like show money. So let's make sure, like Carlos Pacheco, like that's his promo code.
Yeah.
If you want to support him, like I know that guy. Like he's like,
I know that guy.
I would like to
Yeah.
call him my friend, my partner, and my coach. Like just support them. Like, but I'll let him talk about the card.
Yeah. Even if you don't like me, you get to watch me get hit. Like,
Right, right.
it's a win-win. Like, but even if you don't like me, still use my promo code.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's El Paso, man. Myself too. We're cheap. So if it gives you a discount, use it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, my fights. Honestly, it's whatever, right? But we're opening the show with a fight that could potentially be a main event for a lot of other like local fights, like amateur card. That fight, like there's a reason why we're opening with that fight. It's Nico, it's the cat guy,
Mhm.
and he's fighting Santana out of Otero in Alamogordo. Man, that's gonna be like, as when I put, I didn't. It was a last minute replacement because Nico jumped in last minute,
Mhm.
but that fight it's as a fan, I want to see that fight. I'll be in the back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But as a fan, you want to watch that fight because
And they're opening the show.
they're opening the show for that
Nice.
reason of like, El Paso's notorious for being late. Don't be late. Like, we're opening an extra half hour early this time.
Wow.
So we're opening 2 hours early, so you can like don't miss that fight.
And what time does the show start?
7, and we're punctual. It's 7. It's 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the casino, it's like they're always like, on time. And something to kind of like, I like to share my perspective of things, because I like to think that I'm lucky to be in this seat, right? And when Carlos says he opens up the show with a good fight, I recall Paul Dakota,
Yeah.
like fighting Mixel.
No, he fought Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Isaiah, what is
Solaita?
it? Solaita?
Yeah.
So I see this team member from the casino, like kind of like, standing by, like the fight starts going, and then we get a TKO, like we're barely getting started.
Yeah.
And like, the kind of like the rhythm's barely being set, and then we get a TKO, and this guy starts jumping, and clapping. And I'm like, I told you, remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I was like, like I had this like, kind of like a little bit of resentment of like, oh, you're gonna bring in 300 people, it's gonna be a shit show, like, and then like I see this guy jumping out, like he wasn't sitting down, but he's like, oh, he's like excited. And I'm like, like Paul, shout out to Paul, like I was, like I was on his DMs the other day. I was sharing that story with him, how I lived it, like he was up there, like, TKOing someone. But to me, it was like, I watch him do it, and then I see this casino member, like getting excited. And I told you, I told you this was going to be exciting. It was because they were doubting us, like we were nobodies. I mean, I would say probably we're still like
Yeah,
nobodies,
we're still
but
nobody. Compared to what they do, we're still nobody's.
yeah. So like that
But you
to
guys
me,
are coming up. You guys are
Yeah.
coming up.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that's kind of like like I just wanted to kind of feed off,
Yeah.
like of like the start of the show, but like
Yeah.
get back to it. Sorry.
No, it's just when I tell you you don't want to miss that fight, don't miss that fight. Like, there's for sure not going to be a decision in that fight.
Yeah.
Someone's getting finished.
2 killers for sure.
Yeah, two guys that just like Santana's a guy that even if he's losing a fight, like you look at him and he's laughing.
He's wild.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
smile. He's like, yeah.
yeah. I will always want to put that guy on a show. And Nico, I was saying to him, like, if he's coming back, and if you didn't adopt a cat already, he's gonna fuck
Shout out Nico.
yeah, he's gonna fuck
He's
you
coming
up.
out in the crowd.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
He's
gonna
like,
look
"Where's
for
your
you.
cat?"
Yeah,
Where's your cat?
but that fight as an opener is that could be a main event for like an amateur show. It's that good.
And we also have championship fights, right? Because this
Yes.
is crowning of champions.
Yes, we have 4 total, 1 defending and 3 brand new.
Let's go.
Yeah, so the first one is gonna be at flyweight, amateur flyweight.
Mhm.
Calvin Dunning out of Phoenix. Shout out to Calvin. He won at CFC 1. He beat I don't know if it was the first round or second round with an armbar. I believe it was the first round. He beat Javi, another big, a local MMA guy. He beat him for the CFC title, and he got hurt, so he couldn't defend it. And then he's fighting Dom. He was originally supposed to fight Dom, but I don't know what happened that we ended up doing Javi and Calvin. And Dom, he's like on a 2-fight win streak. He's finished his last one, so it's a very good fight. And then right after that, you have Rudy and Santi. Santi, like,
Ooh.
yeah, bro, like that's the reaction you should have. I tell Santi he's from Albuquerque. Santi's a bigger star in El Paso than he is in Albuquerque because that guy, he's
Taking all
gone
your money,
back to back. He's leaving us poor, bro. He's gone back to back
We
knockout.
met him right at the event. He was
No,
there?
No, Santi's from Albuquerque.
Santi's from
Okay.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, that's Santillan. That's Victor.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
another big star here.
Okay.
No, but Santi, from over there in Albuquerque, he's won back-to-back knockout of the nights. And even if they're amateurs, we do pay them a bonus. So, like, it gives you some incentive to go out and try to finish your fight because you get a pretty decent bonus for an amateur. Like, you don't get paid. And he's won them back-to-back with knockouts. And he's fighting my one of my students, Rudy, who's undefeated, 3-0. Had a really good showing last time in his last fight. So that's for our first ever amateur bantamweight title. And then after that, you have Jeremy Robles, who's also undefeated, 3-0, and he's fighting Matt Sablehouse I believe he's from Flagstaff. So the reason why I got Matt was I don't even know Matt, but just I was cornering Victor in a fight in Tucson, and Matt fought on the same card. And I was like, damn, that guy's badass. He's entertaining. He's super fan friendly. So when I was putting together these fights, I found his Instagram through the CFC thing because I'll literally go and just look for fighters and then teams and let's see who I can get on this card, who's entertaining. And I remembered that he fought. So that's why this fight's happening because he's super entertaining. He just won a title like 2 weeks ago too.
Oh shit.
And then Jeremy, he's like I don't think he's from El Paso, but he's like a local guy now. Undefeated, 3-0. Just came off a win like 2-3 weeks ago as well. So that's another fight that for sure won't go the distance. And then the main event is Jacobo. This is professional already. Jacobo's like one of the up-and-comers of not just El Paso, but the region. Just he's number 2. He's ranked number 2 in New Mexico. And just Jacobo over the past, I want to say 2-3 years, has just become a much, much different fighter. Jacobo has everything it takes to make it far in this sport. So thankfully we get to start his career here. And he's fighting Javier Cepeda, who fought at CFC 2. He got a 3rd round TKO, I believe, or 2nd. And they were supposed to fight before, just that fight got scrapped because Jacobo got hurt. So thankfully, it just aligned where Jacobo won his last fight and Javier won his last fight. So now they're fighting each other in the main event.
Yep.
And it just makes sense.
Yep.
So those are the title fights.
Wow. I don't know these guys, but I'm just pumped. Like, I'm seeing Jimmy's reaction. Jimmy's like, oh,
Well, I
fuck.
got the opportunity to see a lot of these guys or been around them.
Yeah.
So like when they're saying names, it's kind of cool because I've taken the time to kind of get to know people. So just how Carlos keeps saying it, really like we're fans of the sport, and then to
Yeah.
be able to just be back there, how Chris and I are just
Yeah.
doing video stuff is awesome because we get to know them too, and then they get to go out there and showcase what
Yeah.
they've been busting their butt for.
Yeah, and like when announcing a fight, like I get excited before anybody else does because I make the fight. I do everything behind the scenes, in DMs and stuff, talking to coaches or whatever. So I try to give people that oh shit moment of like when we announce a fight, like oh shit, this guy, because it always happens. Like we'll post a fight, And then I get a bunch of messages like, "Oh fuck, you got that fight together? Like, oh, that's gonna be a good fight, whatever. This is gonna be fight of the night." And I announce another one. Oh no, fuck no, that was gonna be fight of the night. Like it
It's
builds.
kind of it's kind of like an inside joke, but to
Mhm.
kind of give perspective to what you just said, like I don't know some of these guys, but I'm getting the reactions, right? Our thing is like going back to his recipe is like we don't fight El Paso versus El Paso because if you're a local fanatic and you're attending this show. And then you see the red corner, coming out, and like, oh, this guy's my local guy, so I know who I'm who
Yeah.
I'm supporting.
Yeah.
So that also helps, makes it easier for our local people. But the idea is to make these people familiar with them. That's why we kind of like we obviously don't want to fight the same guys every single time, but we're selecting the few people that are like like people are starting to get familiar with, and we're making sure that are the people that have are a well-rounded fighter. It's not just a good fighter, but you also connect well with your community.
Yeah.
So you have a following like Nico, he's coming back. Like he made a connection with our community, and he's not even from town. So that's a important piece of it too.
Go.
What do you take in consideration making fights?
Um,
Or what do you look
it's
for in a
so like
sense?
I was telling them like you should see the messages that we have like of a bunch of people that want to fight on CFC, and I don't just take anyone.
Mm.
And I'm not saying they're not good. Like they could be amazing fighters. I don't know them. I want to give a platform to like I think because I set the show at a certain standard where it's like you have to be a someone or come from a someone type gym. Like these guys from Jackson's, from Albuquerque, some of these guys are debuting, but they're from Jackson's. That's a huge world renowned gym. So I look for like oh shit type things. Like I'll look at their past, grappling tournaments or
Mhm.
kickboxing fights. They have experience. They're just not super fresh guys. But if you see the A side, well, like the El Paso side, everybody is someone huge here locally. Even guys who have like two fights, they're big names here in El Paso. So I think I just look for being an oh shit moment.
A notion moment that I can share from what he just said is like when me being I'm kind of like I happen to train with some of these guys because he like he trains a good chunk of the professional fighters and amateur fighters here in town. But another ocean moment that I had is like when Jackson Wink reached out and like they wanted to pretty much fill our B card,
Yeah.
like most of it, and we are like, okay, we need to kind of distribute it.
Hmm.
But we took a lot of fighters from Jackson Wink, and then they go and announce on their social media, like their fights coming up, and we see our like our names, or like the names of their fight popping up right next to like some of the fighters that they have fighting out of the UFC, LFA, Fury, and then a bunch of the fights that are happening at CFC. So that was super cool. Like I like to share, like I said, like my perspective of things to the community. Why? Because I'm also new to this industry. I'm new to the sport. But then I also, like I also train. I've done a couple of smokers, like shout out to my coach, here. But I think that's also why I have so much respect for them, for the fighters. Like it really gets me to understand to a small, tiny level, what they go through. Because like obviously I don't go to the weight cuts that they go. Like I don't train in the same regimen like that they do. But at least like I have a little bit of the understanding of what it is to get yourself inside an octagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me, it's like I don't know how they do it because they very few of them actually dedicate fully to this. They have day jobs, and that to me is just the amount of respect that I have for these guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. There's a lot that goes into fighting.
Mhm.
You touched up on it, like the weight cutting is. I've never done it. I haven't cut weight in my life. You can tell, fucking out of shape right now. I have like boob sweat going on just from setting up camera. But I'm sure it's grueling, I'm a big fan of the UFC. I like to watch a lot of the countdowns, the embeds, and you can see these fighters like going through how like the fight starts there for them
Mhm.
before it even
Yeah.
begins. And shout out to you, Carlos, for
Oh,
going through that
yeah.
right now and all that stuff.
Yeah, like any fighter would tell you, the fight's the easy part. It's
Mhm.
fun. It's leading up to it. The stuff that nobody sees except for yourself, your teammates, your coach. Like that's the hard part. Like working through injuries. Like there's none of us that go in even 70% healthy
Yeah.
into a fight. Like there's something wrong with all of us. With the weight cut, I have 25 pounds to go. So I mean, I won't cut that till next week. So that's the hard part for like a lot of us. It's like damn, dude, I gotta cut like 20 pounds. I
Is
gotta
that
cut
why you
it.
have it so hot in here, dude? You're trying to
It,
sweat.
wa- it wasn't me.
That was part of the deal.
Yeah.
That was part of the
He's got the
deal.
hoodie.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I think I shot like 5 pounds just being in here.
Yeah, that's like the cool behind the scenes stuff. Hopefully you guys can come out and just be there first, so you can see that it's not just a fight. It's everything that person that you're booing, that person that you're saying sucks, went through to get into that cage and
Before
lock.
you even get
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a 1%er. Like half the population, or more than half, can't do what that one person that you're talking shit to is doing.
Yeah.
You can't go through one day of their training schedule.
That is crazy. I know you guys have to go, busy schedules, but before you do, what is in the future for CFC? What do you guys have planned, past CFC 3?
Well, CFC 4 obviously.
CFC 4.
'cause-
Good answer.
CFC
All
4
right,
is
guys,
coming.
wrap.
See you
We're
guys
done.
later. Have a good one.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop and leave.
No, obviously, like, we have more events, already scheduled for the rest of the year. I mean, I don't like to really like talk about things, like, I don't like to put them out there really. Like, I like to like, let action speak for itself. But I just want the community, specifically in El Paso, the fighting community, like that we're building a platform, for them to utilize and showcase and where they can grow out of. Uh, it's like everything that I do, I treat it as professional as possible. Otherwise, I don't do it. And we're treating this the exact same way. Like, this is no joke. This is not a hit it and quit it, type deal thing.
Mhm.
Like, we are in here for the long run, and we have a 5 to 10, like, plan, 5 to 10 year plan. Like, this is headed somewhere, and we are happy that like all of you guys here in this room are joining us in this journey, because this is definitely gonna impact. I can tell you, like, this is definitely gonna impact the El Paso community, economic development, tourism. Like, definitely like our sports scene, and specifically the MMA community. We want to make sure that El Paso, we put El Paso on the map, because we already have the talent. It's just we gotta put the spotlight on it. And that's what we're doing. We're not here after like selling out tickets. We're not here like, we're just here trying to set the spotlight for the talent that there is here in El Paso. And my thing that I would like to close with personally is, like, for all of you people that always say and talk shit about El Paso not having shit to do,
Yeah.
Come on out.
coming out.
Why is
There's-
it
yeah.
No excuses, shit,
Yeah.
man.
No excuse. Like,
Attaboy.
I hate it. I hate it when people say, "Oh, like, there's nothing to do in El Paso," but then we put something out and we only get 1,800 people. Like, I say only, like, but
Yeah.
shit, like, we have capacity. Like, let's bring it on.
Yeah.
Like, guys, even if you don't like fights, like, this is a great show. Come out, support a fighter, find out their like their last name, use their promo code. You never know. Imagine if I would, like, think of it like, if you were younger and you can get to go watch, John Jones, Alex Pereira, like your favorite fighter. You can go watch him when he's like really
Drama.
up and coming.
Yeah.
Like,
Starting up.
Yeah.
go and support.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to go and watch one of these guys, when they were first starting.
Then they'll be on the CFC 30 card.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're showcasing the stars of tomorrow. El Paso's a fight town. Locally, we have so many people that are going far. I mean, not on CFC exactly, right? But like, there's a lot of really good fighters, like Andrea Amaro. She's about to fight for a world title, first MMA world title in El Paso. That's huge. We have AJ Hodgkins, huge name. Jacobo's gonna be big, Victor, and it's not just my team. It's everywhere. Everywhere in El Paso, there's talent. There's talented fighters in every. I don't care what gym you go to. You go to like some little small boxing gym. There's a talented fighter there. Every gym in El Paso has a very talented fighter, and we're just trying to give them a platform to showcase their talent to the world, not just to El Paso, look to the world. So these are really the stars of tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We're going to let you guys go. We're going to continue with the podcast, but thank you so much, Roland and Carlos, for letting us be a part of this. And we're excited. Get your tickets, guys. This event's going to kick ass.
Yeah. And if you've never been to a CFC show, when does this go out?
It'll be that Monday before.
So in about 5 days.
Yeah.
About 5 days. Okay.
So
I'll-
it'll come out on the 31st.
On the 31st?
Mhm.
No, that gives them enough time.
Yeah.
All right. So once it goes out, like, I'll be kind of useless because I'll be cutting weight. But to, like, the first 10 people, I don't care who you are. If you message me, I'll give you a ticket.
Okay.
Because you say there's nothing to do in El Paso, I'll give you a ticket to go do something.
All right.
And same for your podcast. Anybody that reaches out to your eight town talk like podcast,
Yeah.
we'll give out another 10 tickets.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like if they reach out and say, hey, we listened to the like to the episode and we want our free ticket, like let's give them a ticket.
There you go, guys. Comment down below. Hit us up on our DMs
Yeah.
on Instagram at A-Town Talk if you guys want tickets.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
All right,
guys so
thanks
much
Peace
for
out,
your
guys.
time.
Y'all have a good one.
Hello, my name is Victor Santillan. Some people call me Guapo. I am 7-1 and number 3 ranked in the North American region. I'm more than happy to be your guys' fighter coming out of El Paso, and sure enough, you guys are gonna see me in the big screens. I'm happy to be here, and most importantly, I'm happy to be fighting for you all. Thank you.
Yep, right there.
All right, man.
Heck yeah. Thanks.
Shout
again,
out,
brother.
shout out, Sel, the #1 producer.
Yes. And probably #1 producer in A-Town.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. So we're back, guys, from our little break. We had to, Carlos and Roland had to head out. They're very busy guys, but we're gonna continue this CFC podcast with 2 of the homies, man.
Yo, what's
up?
up?
We got Jimmy and Chris. So what's up, guys? I know you guys have way more experience in this field, so I kind of just wanted to
About 2 months.
get 2 months more than me, dude. That's 2
Right.
more. Just get kind of, get your guys' experience with previous events, and you guys were at CFC 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I believe that's where you guys met.
Yeah,
First time
man.
is where you
Little
guys fell in
story.
love?
Yeah, pretty much. It was
Love at
cool.
first sight.
Right? He showed up. He was there with his lovely wife, and I had saw him, and I had my backpack, and he had a camera, and I just looked at him like, damn, this guy's serious. He knows what the fuck I'm doing. And he probably looked at me like, oh, this guy's serious.
I was like, he looks important. Let me take a picture of him.
Yeah, we had no idea, but it was cool because Chris was doing the whole photography thing, and I was barely getting into videography thing. So I was like trying new things, and shout out to Carlos. I had known him, and I was like, hey, can I get in? And he's all,
Same.
yeah. He was like, oh, okay. And then he saw me at KFL doing this, and he was like, okay, cool, you're serious. And I respect that because they're not gonna let just anybody in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Chris knows them because he trains with the 2 gyms over there. So it was cool to let them let us in to experience that and work on what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I was actually there for Steve-O from Zen. He was fighting that night. And
I thought from Jackass. I'm like, what? He was there,
Right?
He's like, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah,
Steve-O, watch this.
and before that, I had never done any kind of photography when it comes to that, and I was training at Zen, and I started getting more interested, and I was like, hey, you guys mind if I bring my camera in and just do some pictures of you guys while you're doing your fight camp or whatever? And they were like, hell yeah, come in and do your thing, man. And then they were like, hey, we want you to come along, and I was like, oh, okay. And then just like Jimmy here, show up, and I'm really focused more on Steve-O and the Zen guys, but I'm also like, hey man, like I'm here, fuck it, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take pictures of whatever I can, and then it just like morphed into that, and then I think we both kind of found ourselves in that position where we're like, we're kind of just doing our own thing,
Yeah.
and they're letting us,
Yes.
and then it was like, I think it was like, it wasn't until the second fight until I actually went, oh, let me get in the ring after or in between the rounds.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't even think of that. I saw him doing that because I felt like I didn't know what I could do or not do.
Exactly.
Because I was just happy to be there. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, oh, go watch me, look at me kind of thing. I was more like, oh, shit, what can I do? All right. So I started just doing little things. Chris was doing little things. And then he was doing things and I was doing things. I was like, we looked at each other like, yeah, this is sick. Yeah. That was the
Can't
best part.
believe
I
how
think
different it is.
I think by far that was the best part of just being able just to be back there. And we talked about it in a conversation is like, it was cool just to be back there. And then all of a sudden us, doing what we love doing and being involved that people embraced us, which was cool too.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is, like they talked about, like, you can talk shit about fighters about when they're fighting and stuff, but most people don't see all the other stuff that goes on in the warm-up tents or the training and all that kind of stuff. And when you're in there and you're seeing these men and women in their element, and they know that they're about to go into combat, and it's like a completely different vibe. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps like right now talking about it, and you can feel it, and being able to be there and like do what you love, but also being like, man, I'm like capturing that shit for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be able to look back and be like, okay, cool.
It's cool being part of other people's main story.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
a side
absolutely.
character.
Yeah,
Even though I think I'm in my own like world, like just being a part of that and being Chris, we always said we like being the fly on the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That aspect. I know you like the documentary stuff and kind of just separate yourself from things a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not about you. I think we've really enjoyed that more than anything.
And I think, like the behind the scenes or fly on the wall type stuff is when you get the best stuff, because
For sure.
you see everyone in the realest, rawest moments. There's no one bullshitting or pretending. Like everyone is there to do one thing, and you get to capture that.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I was like, holy crap, I was kind of freaked out. I was kind of scared. I'm like I know what they're about to do, but I'm like, I'm here, and people are looking at you and they're like, oh, hey, that's a photographer or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm here for so-and-so.
Right.
And
don't worry about my ass.
And then it transitions and you're working with other people and you're meeting other people and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. And that's how I met you guys. Well, Jimmy, I met you through the pod, but it's so surreal. And I was talking about it in a vlog, because I started vlogging now.
Hey.
I was talking about on my way
going.
here how all of this is possible because of you two guys. Well, at least for me being here. Because Jimmy, I met you through the pod. We sat down, and it was kind of months after we did our episode with you that you reached out one day and you're like, hey, I'm going to be going to this event. You want to come out?
We talked about it a little bit after. I was all, if you really want to do it, I can get you into this
Yeah.
other promote. If you really want to do it, and you're like, I'll let you know. Let me see what my work schedule. I think it was like a month and a half after we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, I'm going to make it happen. And I
Yeah.
was happy that you were ever wanting to come out, because I'm a nerd like that. When seeing Chris in between, once you get into the space and you start seeing people, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, it's cool. Because you want to hang out with each other and also make content and, get to experience cool things like that. So yeah, definitely.
It can snowball. It can move really quick. And, and it's like when I was just started snapping pictures at Zen, I would have never imagined that I would be like sitting here at the table, knowing you guys, meeting all of you,
Right.
with the CFC, ready for CFC 3,
Mm-hmm.
going on for CFC 4, not any of that kind of stuff. And then, but I think that's kind of like, realizing that, hey,
The planets align and shit.
yeah,
It's weird how that is,
even
huh?
if you don't necessarily see that, you're like, you know what? I have this opportunity. I'm gonna send it.
Yep.
And if nothing comes out of it,
Fuck it.
whatever.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it
Mhm.
anyways.
And I think we all kind of share that mentality. And
Yeah.
we've talked about this before, how just us being there, like not getting paid for an event, we're just doing it because we love it.
Absolutely.
And we're aligning because we like the vision, right? We
Yeah.
like where it's going. And for me personally, like I believe in this, and I've met the guys and you can see the passion
Yeah.
when
Oh,
they talk
yeah.
about it. They love talking about it. They're pushing, right? They had to leave
Yeah.
like an hour ago, and they were like, okay, well,
We're gonna
we're gonna stay to
Yeah.
make this happen, just to talk about it. So I love that. I'm super grateful and happy that I met you guys. And I
Same.
can consider you guys friends now.
Yeah. Hell
we-
yeah.
we
I guess I got to invite you guys over for dinner now.
Right.
Yeah. And that was the first time that I met you, Chris,
Yeah, KFL.
at KFL, man, and that was pretty crazy because that was my technically like second time doing like that type of
Same for me.
event.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because I mean, I wouldn't say we're pros now. I
Mhm.
think we're
Yeah,
a lot.
by far, not even close.
We're a lot
Still
better.
learning to fly the airplane in the
Yeah.
air.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. We're up here and shit, though.
We got parachutes on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Getting better.
But we're learning as we go, but it's cool because we're kind of sharing this journey, and we're kind of growing together in
We're gonna get
multiple ways.
him over here with the camera too.
Yeah,
You can't just
probably.
sit in the back and chill,
Yeah.
dog. You're drinking your seltzers and shit. We're gonna get you involved.
Little by little, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
told Raleigh, dude, I'm gonna give you a camera, even if like the lens cap is on. Just walk around with it, dude. They don't know.
He could just put a GoPro on his chest, man.
Honestly.
Get the
Just your
Raleigh cam.
conversations with people would be just enough content for sure.
But it's been so much fun, man, and I'm excited because now we're part of this media team for CFC3. Thanks to you, Chris, and Jimmy, because I mean, ultimately, I think that's what set it all up for us. So, what are you guys excited for this event, and what are you guys looking forward to?
I'm ready to see the next step. Like there's a lot of talk, but there's also been a lot of action. You know what I mean? And I didn't get to go to CFC1, so I hear what the differences are between that. But I mean, thinking about how quickly and how fast it changes and gets better, and meeting new people and having awesome freaking ideas and being able to go out and try. There's certain responsibilities and stuff, but shit, man, like we have a lot of creative freedom. And for people like us, I think that's huge. So we know that we have to go and we want to cover XYZ, but whatever else we want to do in between there, we can make it better.
And it's dope that they are allowing you guys to do that.
Absolutely. And it's like, the passion, right? Seeing other people that are extremely passionate about it and knowing that, money is good and all, but at the end of the day, it's like, where is this going to go? And is that more important for me, the organization, and the other people that I'm working with, learning with, and creating with? Like, I'm not worried about money right now.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, I'm learning my own craft and we're all helping each other do the same. So outside of CFC, I'm more excited to see where we all go from this and what we're able to do with this.
Yeah, it just goes back to what you're saying. Just another opportunity. Shout out to them for having us out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that was the first time I even told Carlos. That's how I started my fight talk shit. I talked to Santi. Shout out to Santi, the one that we got the back-to-back TKOs, how they were saying. And I've known Carlos just in passing, and he gave me his time, and he saw how serious I was of just covering the sport and everybody else. And it started that idea because I was already kind of doing different kind of content and whatever. But the fact that they gave me the opportunity just to be there was to meet Chris, which was dope. And all of a sudden I was like, hey, fuck it, I'm going to interview people. I don't know anybody. Nobody knows me other than the people that just knew who I was at the time. And then all of a sudden, just me having that opportunity sprung a whole line of content that I wanted to do anyways, but it just didn't make sense at the time. And for me to take the opportunity just to go and have the opportunity just to go, it springboarded just doing stuff I love doing anyway. So it was it was dope.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing too is aside from like our own creativity and what we're able to get out of this professionally or creatively or whatever, seeing the fighters too.
Oh my God.
Because being around them more, being at their training sessions, their cutting sessions, or seeing them interact with other people and stuff, and we're not the only ones growing, man. Like,
we're capturing it. I like how
absolutely.
Chris always says that. You always say that you guys are just being able to capture stuff. Because I've been a content creator for a while, and I'm always like being I'm the face. I'm doing this. And after a while, when that was the first time I kind of like, I'm gonna use my platform for other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have way more fun, and I enjoy doing that more than anybody. Like, I'm on the camera when I'm talking to people, but it's more about what they got going on, not so much what I got going on. And ever since I've been doing that, it gave me like more of a creative I'm like, I'm doing it for like the community. I'm doing it for the fighters that they've been busting their butt and doing all this. And now, like, hey, I talked to Jimmy, and all of a sudden everybody had an opportunity just to hear me talk, and I go out there and knock somebody out at CFC. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Everybody wins. You know what I mean? It's cool just being able to be creative, have the freedom creative, and then just being there and then working with people that are passionate for what they're trying to do and what their vision is too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've been joking around about saying like, oh, Jimmy is like the MMA guy as a joke, but you really are, man. You really have become like the El Paso MMA guy. You're like the El Paso Ariel Hawani, dude.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Just with a lot more
I
hair.
won't leak out shit ahead of time.
but it's cool, man, and I love that for you, bro, because it's something that you know, you found your niche, you found your angle at it, and like nobody else is doing it, or nobody else is doing it the way that you're doing it. You're going out to these gyms. I love your post with where you roll with them and then you talk to them after.
Yeah, rolling with the homies. I gotta
Rolling with
get
the
one
homies.
with Chris. I gotta get one with Chris. I gotta get one with you guys.
Make sure you edit all the.
That'll be both of us at this point.
Yeah. So that's cool, man. Like, you know, you talked a little bit about it as a creator. Like, what's that like to you, man, to be able to do something like this?
Me as a creator, it's cool because, like, you know, we've said it off camera. We're all trying to pursue things our own way, and then being part of different opportunities is great for us individually. But I love the fact that I can create openly, and hopefully in time it leads to, you know, me getting away from a 9 to 5, and you know, with, you know, God willing, if it makes sense, and I keep getting better. That's one thing that I love about you guys, is that we're constantly always trying things or doing things that can better us. It's not going to be like a big leap, but the fact that you just start doing small things, like Chris, I thought like photography wise, there's nobody else that was doing photography like him, like up in your face, black and white, before fights, after fights. I was like, God damn, that is dope. You know what I mean? Then I just started doing little video things, and then the mic'd up thing, everybody's like, dude, that is a dope idea. I was like, I just thought of it like, oh, randomly, you know what I mean? And then just, you know, having that opportunity and just doing cool stuff like that is what umps me up, you know what I mean? So it's for me as a creator, for creating different types of content for so long, I feel like I'm always like, hell yeah, I'm taking advantage of things. Because playing video games in front of a camera, and, you know, all the people on Twitch and YouTube, all that got me through the gaming is awesome. But me getting away from just being in a chair and just getting out and about and hanging out with people, and being involved in a sport that I really love and enjoy and follow, it's even better.
That's
a
awesome.
win-win.
Yeah, for sure. Like you're actually going out there and touching grass, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no hiding in your office on that one, or sitting behind behind enemy lines. You're out there like in it while it's happening.
And then, you know, shout out to all the gyms and all the promotions, you know, that see us doing what we're doing, and they're like welcoming and wanting us to be there. Yeah, you know, like they see Chris, they're like, oh, that's his name. You know what I mean? Because I was like, yeah, you know, freaking, you know, where Chris is, and then like, oh, they see his page, like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was his name. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? Because nobody will, like, there's other photographers covering, but I don't feel like anybody's covering like he does, in my opinion. So I feel like him, the way he kind of attacks things, and he's gotten better every single time. Obviously, he does a lot of other type of photography, but as far as when it comes to the combat sports, I'm like, I like the way he kind of does his thing with it too.
And you haven't been, like, you would look at Chris's page and you think this guy's been shooting for years. Like, this guy's like a veteran. You haven't been doing this that long.
In a professional sense, no. CFC
not even professional yet.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He's still getting there, man. That's the best part. He's just like, he's good now. Imagine another couple months, even more.
You know, I bought my first real camera not even 3 years ago, right before I actually retired out of the military. And I mean, before that, I had a little camera that I shot pictures with, and it was like, oh, you know, my kids or vacation or hiking and stuff. But I started getting into it creatively because I needed an outlet, honestly. And then I think once I retired and I was like, shit, I need another outlet. I need something to keep me busy. Well, then martial arts, you know, going to Zen. And thankfully, a friend of mine that referred me to Mondo over there. And so both me and my sons go there. And, you know, once again, I never thought from the first time I stepped on that mat and started getting rolled up by some freaking 19-year-old blue belt, it's like just smothering shit out of me, that would slowly lead to this. And realizing that, like, man, I'm surrounded by a bunch of freaking awesome people doing some hardcore shit.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, and like, I'm a hobbyist, man. You know, like, for one, I'm 40. I get my ass kicked.
Yeah,
like
same.
twice, 3 times a week, I'm good. But, you know, seeing them in there every day, you know, we've had the conversation. Like, you can surrounding yourself with the right people, right? People that constantly push you, no matter what aspect it's in, it's awesome.
That's what I feel about. That's dope about the MMA community. They're like, they're so welcoming and humble about the craft and so forth. You know, and it makes it easier for one person to like just go in and fucking start doing the damn thing, you know?
Yeah, you know, I will 100% say, like, going to Zen, I've never felt pressured. I've never felt like it was a, whatever.
Tough, like prove yourself
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah. If you're there, you're there. You leave yourself on the mat, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've built friendships and relationships out of that, obviously. And yeah, and the opportunities that they've given me, that they've allowed us in, and it's unreal.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, like I even go back a little further when I got back to training. Shout out to Grind, everybody at Grind in the Northeast. I was started training and I was already kind of transitioning away from video games and I was already doing my podcast and I wanted to do video stuff. So I was practicing at the gym. So I would tell the professor Justin, I was like, hey, can I record? He's like, do whatever you want. I was like, well, I'm gonna record. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I would shout Justin out because he gave me the opportunity and confidence to even record my teammates. And then when they had like the sister meetup at Zen, I went and I took my camera and I just did a time lapse and I recorded a little bit, but I got an opportunity just to get out of my own gym and then just do that. And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, oh, I'm just starting. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But it was cool. Everybody was so embraced like the fact that nobody was like recording or taking pictures, how Chris was saying. So like everybody was so welcoming, going back to what you were saying, because I feel like with combat sports, everybody thinks like, oh, killers, everybody's pissed off or whatever. Yeah, that's there. But 99% of the other time, it's everybody's
the
it's
nicest
community,
freaking people.
nicest people.
honestly.
Yeah,
super
for sure.
tight knit, super tight.
Yeah,
knit.
if everybody
Help
wants
each
to
other
win
out.
in their own way, as long as you're not an asshole, you're welcomed.
Yeah,
You're
for
pretty
sure.
much.
Absolutely. And like I said, I've never felt like I was given opportunities just because I wanted to take pictures. Hey, can I be here and practice my? Oh, you want to practice and better yourself? Oh yeah, come on, dude. Absolutely. It doesn't matter if we are gaining something from it or whatever. It's you're here and you're bettering yourself, and it's like, okay, cool. And then everyone sees that.
Yeah.
And then that's when the door starts opening and you start building more relationships and
With the right type of people that see
and
that.
then you find yourself sitting at a table like this.
Yeah, with you guys over here. I know it started with I was seeing your guys' podcast and what you guys had been doing, and Johnny reached out to me. I already had seen what you guys were doing because I'm the same way too. I look around and see what's going on with people. I feel like I'm a friendly guy and I'm pretty open when I talk to everybody. Like I try to get along with everybody, not my purpose not to, but when you guys were so welcoming, you invited me over and I saw what you guys were doing for the X amount of time, I gained respect for you guys, the whole content side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that you guys did it and kept going, that's the thing why I liked about you guys, because you guys make it a point that it might not be like now, you guys are expanding with different things, but you guys are constantly trying to do things. And that's why I'm like, yeah, we're like friends now. And it's crazy how we just fell into it because all of us are on different way. We're trying to pursue something, but I always say this, we're all on a highway. All of us are on a fucking freeway and different lanes and different reasons, but we're all going the same way and we all want to better ourselves in our own different way.
Absolutely.
Might as well just do it with some cool people.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. When we had you on the pod, man, it was during a time where I was starting to feel the burnout of constantly doing this because it's a lot of work.
It is.
And that's something that I always give you your flowers because you're the fucking workhorse, man. The amount of content that you put out,
I try, man.
I put out one pod in like
Quality
one
though.
clip.
You got
He has a twin. He's got a twin doing shit while he's
in
at
the
work
back
and
of the
something.
machine. Sit up there.
And dude, it's so fucking great, man. And yeah, definitely talking to you kind of really helped me to push through that end of the year and just like seeing you guys and you too, Chris. You're out there fucking shooting photos, like shooting 1,000 photos, and you're cranking them out like that same night.
Yeah.
That's it takes a lot, dude. So, shout out to you guys. I'm really excited for this event and to be part of this and the fact that we get to do this.
Hell yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Hell
Yeah, just wait. Like we talked about before, it's like when you're ringside, man, it's completely different than if you're 30 feet back in a chair.
Yeah.
You're hearing dudes get punched, kicked, knocked
Well,
out.
and then we've been to the other ones, right? And they're great too, but these guys have like the larger scale of it, which is cool to see too, because I love small shows. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Me and Chris did a smoker and we were literally right there in front. There was not as much loudness and being able to get in so close is dope. But then at the same time, on a larger scale, it's kind of like, oh shit.
You have
dope.
all the production.
Yeah, and then you're kind of being a part of it too. So it's even like there's different ways to have fun with it. But yeah, definitely the atmosphere is more than that. You're gonna enjoy that even more because being there in front and just walking around and feeding off of people in the crowd. Because you guys like watching fights and
Yeah.
your brother trains like, but you see that. But when you're at an event, and everybody's having a good time, or like just guys are going out there and girls are doing out there and doing their thing, and you're just part of it, it's just so much doper. For sure. And then we get to hold cameras and hang out with everybody in the back. Like, it's a fucking win. Come on.
We get the media badges, so we're gonna be all over, and that's the fucking coolest thing, man.
The golden ticket.
The golden ticket.
Hell yeah,
ticket.
man.
Yeah.
And that's, you're gonna have a job or whatever, but you're gonna be there as your own creative person too, and you're gonna be
number one podcast,
doing your own art,
going all the way to Speaking Rock
All the way to
Entertainment
Speaking
Center.
Rock.
Yeah,
One
so
end of
cool.
town to the other end of town.
Dude, these are badass. We're gonna have to use these for like the thumbnail.
yeah.
That's cool, man. We're gonna start wrapping up here, guys. So before we start doing our closing comments, April 4th are the weigh-ins. They're gonna be at
Twin Peaks,
Sunland
Park, 12 to 2.
12 to 2 p.m.
Yep.
So show up, guys. Support your fighters. It's crazy.
That's just the regular win. What about the ceremonial one?
That's going to be at Speaking Rock the same night.
Same night.
I believe it's 5 or 6 p.m.
So 2 chances to see everybody ahead of time.
Yep. And if you can't make Speaking Rock, definitely. If you can't make Twin Peaks, Speaking Rock would be the better one because
That's a ceremonial.
It's a ceremonial one, and they do a bigger face off, and then of course it's at the actual it's going to be at Speaking Rock, which is where the fight's going to take place. So you kind of, and you're going to see the fighters, and between Twin Peaks and Speaking Rock, the vibe will change.
Yeah.
You'll see it change
because
And
they're
you'll feel-
drained, no energy,
Yeah.
and then they hydrate, and then they're ready to
and
roll.
then it starts picking up, and you're like, tomorrow's the day.
Yep.
So
They
shit's
can't
gonna
just
go
wait
down.
to get at it for sure.
Yep.
Cool. And then the actual event is going to be April 5th. So this podcast releases Monday. It'll be this Saturday. It's at Speaking Rock Entertainment.
First fight kicks off at 7 p.m. Don't be late.
Oh, doors open what, 5?
5.
Yes, 5 o'clock.
Get there early, have a drink or two.
Absolutely.
When then the first fight comes out, and for me, and just jokingly, I appreciate you guys saying, yeah, you're the MMA guy, but it's cool because I've taken the time to learn a lot about these guys. So like when I start seeing the card, I'm like, holy shit! Like it's literally like you're watching some of the best fighters in this area fighting each other, and this is just the start. Because guess what? There's a whole other line of other guys in different weight classes that are just as good, if not better, that are going to be fighting in this area too. So it's a perfect time to start getting in. I say it all the time. It's a perfect time to start supporting local combat sports. You like boxing, great. You like MMA, great. There's a lot of combat athletes here in El Paso, in this area, even Albuquerque down, Juarez, también, same thing, that are fighting in this area that you could possibly see future champs for sure.
Yep.
So it's a perfect time to start paying attention.
Sweet. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Hell yeah, man.
Raleigh, any final words?
Dude, I had something to say and I forgot.
He's gonna
That's
be
me,
a
like,
guest
sometimes.
card girl or boy or man.
He's gonna be.
We're gonna try to see if that can.
Ring man.
There's a ring man.
We're
He's
gonna put that in one of our vlogs or something.
yeah.
He's gonna be out there, he's strutting his stuff.
Some Daisy Dukes.
Hey man, with some high boots and that
boots,
freaking
yeah.
seltzer in your hand. I love it.
with an upper decky.
Yep. 2 of them.
2 of them. Well, you forgot.
Yeah, I fucking lost my thought. I was thinking of something else.
No.
Has an idea for you guys, like for that either.
Okay. Well, if you think about it,
Definitely let us know.
Yeah,
for
man.
sure, man.
all right, Chris. Any final words?
You never know where something's going to lead. So whether it's MMA or photography or podcast or whatever, anyone that's watching, if you give a shit or have a passion about anything, chase that shit no matter what.
Yeah.
Keep going, man. Absolutely. And surround yourself with people that also do the same and cheer you on.
Right on.
Win.
Jimmy.
Shout out to you guys, man. I know you guys are expanding. You guys are just doing different things, and I love to see it. As a creator, I love when people are like getting in their creative bag. And as far as like, it doesn't mean like bag as in money, but just like your guys' experience in what you guys are doing and trying to continue to get better. I love seeing, because jokingly we all met each other, but like you guys, I feed off you guys. When I see Chris post shit and he tells me you put video when you guys are doing your documentaries and focusing on other people like that, I love seeing that kind of stuff. So the creative flow. Like when we spoke and you said like, hey man, I was getting burned down. I was like, dude, I felt that before because I've been doing it a little longer. Not that I'm saying that I'm better or anything, but I felt that. And anytime I've talked to other creators, when I hear that, I've had other people that I've looked up to is like, right when you hit that, that's when you just fucking keep going. Because that's when that point where you're like second guessing yourself and kind of doing things, then you kind of remember why you started and then what you can potentially do if you just kept going. So yeah, man, I just shout out to you guys for keep doing your thing and you guys inviting us out here to be part of this podcast as well.
Of course, man. No, thank you guys. Like I said, this we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So I'm extremely grateful. And I just want everybody to win, man.
Yep.
I know we can all do it.
Within reason, all of us can, for sure, man. For sure.
So let's fucking kill it, man. Let's do our thing. I'm excited for April 4th, April 5th. I'm excited for the future to see where this goes. So yeah, let's just keep doing our thing. Big shout out to CFC, Carlos, Brolin, David, Marketing Hunters for letting us use their space here.
Dope little spot up here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The War Room.
Yep.
And shout out to Speaking Rock Entertainment for hosting CFC3. So
let's get it.
That's it for this pod. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you
April 5th.
Let's get it. If you see me, say what's up. Peace.
Woo.
Oh God, so hot.
It is, dude.
Good job, y'all.